Hello and welcome to All the Pies. My name's Si. That is Kev. This is the Nottingham Forest away preview game for the match this Friday. Alright.
How are you doing? You all right?
Fine. Well, I'm not fine. I'm still poorly, but I've got some lockets
Yeah.
and I will double dropping.
Oh,
got some soothers going to do a double drop like the old
I'm
days.
feeling a bit better, clearly.
Oh, I'm having a cup of tea, man.
Tea.
Yeah.
Had a really interesting dream last night. So,
Excellent. Right, we'll move on with the lineup. Go on then. What?
no, well, I was at Shira's second-hand car dealership,
Yeah.
and I was interviewing him for the channel, and he says, actually, it's my lunch break. So me, Alan Shearer, and Eddie Howe went to the delicatessen in Phoenix, and the foot it is with the bill. I remember being skinned and thinking, oh, I can't really afford this, but we've got loads of money. If I sort them out for the dinner, they might give us some cash.
Just
And
give me a cow.
they
Yeah.
didn't. And
Yeah.
that was the top and bottom of the dream.
Bastards, eh?
Robbed,
Here,
no
bastard.
less.
Aye. Good. Interesting story.
Thank you.
Feel free to chip in anytime with more anecdotes like that. I bought, see, unworn 1995 maroon and is it purple away beanie, which cost a lot of money. But I'm an idiot, and I had
Tell them how
a
much,
40
Simon.
it cost 40 quid on eBay. They wanted like 50 odd, and I kept haggling them down. But I had some birthday money off my aunties because I'm a 43-year-old man who still gets birthday money off his aunties. So
Did you shake the card beforehand?
I got 2 cards this year off my Auntie Dawn and one off my Auntie Diane, and that was it. The older I get, the less cards I get.
What are cards?
Exactly. We didn't
I can't
mention
even
last
get.
time because it was only yesterday we recorded actually, but the new Pavel classic keep back hit background.
Where did you find that? Did you design it yourself, or did you
No,
find it?
no, I do design work, as you know. Me people on the channel won't know, but I do a lot of graphic design work, as well as being a stand-up comedian, an actor, a writer, and an illustrator, lots of things. Jack of all trades, master of none. No, I stole that from somebody on Pinterest that put it up. I thought, you had to pay to download it, but I just screenshotted it and cropped it, and then
So you,
up the thingy.
so you,
I
stole it.
Stole it, yes.
You
Is
could
what
have
I'm trying
lied
to
for
say.
the sake of the video and said that you designed it.
There's no point. I don't want to hide who I am. Okay. Also, at this, I'm going to get this room is going to get sorted out. We've got a handyman coming because I'm disabled and or lazy. So we've got a handyman coming so I can eventually get all the rubbish that's here that you can't see rehomed in this background of the PS5 box and an old fan and a Zimmer frame is going to be gone. And I
There's
think I might
so many
invest in a green
questions.
screen, but I haven't decided about that yet because I am a bit tight. Yeah, so
It's
that's the
so many
plans.
questions that rises from just the random things that you have behind you.
I know
It's
mallet there you can see in the background.
uh-huh,
Castle
uh-huh.
Grey Skull,
Castle Grayskull.
PS5 box, a Snide Burberry scarf, a couple of coat
Colin,
hangers. Yeah,
Colin,
Colin the Monster.
perfect
There,
opportunity for a plug here.
yeah. Well, I haven't got enough subscribers to do a plug. Oh, just wait until we get more subs. I will be selling them. Right, we'll move on before we bore everyone. This is the Forest preview, and straight away we'll go in with the last 10 times we've played Forest. 3 of those were in the League Cup. Do you want to hazard a guess at our form against Forest? Top of your head?
Well, I remember the last 2 League Cups we got beaten both. I believe was
Did
a
you're correct?
3-1 and a 3-1, 3-2,
3-2 or
3-2,
4-3.
4-3 was it?
4-3 maybe.
Was it? Are you sure?
Or 3-3.
Yeah, and I remember we turned them over at St James's in the Championship, the 16-17 season at St James's. I remember very well the game away to Forest in the Championship because it was just it's just like pre VAR, and yeah,
Good old
and
days.
it kind of reminded us of why it came in because some of the refereeing decisions were just so questionable. We've got
There
two
was some
men.
clangers that year in the Championship, though. Do you remember was it the Matt Ritchie incident? What was that again? I remember me and you we had time because we weren't sitting together then. We're still both sitting in the leasers, but we're like 2 tiers apart, and we had time to meet up. There was that much time in between. Was it a goal decision or something?
Oh,
Do
I
you
can't
remember?
remember. Can't remember. No.
But anyway, if anyone remembers, write in the comments that incident that I'm talking about. Someone will have a better memory than me. I'm sure it was where Richie had scored, and there was like I think it was then ruling that it didn't count, and then everybody was standing up for the rest of the game and went on to win the game.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I can't remember.
I
I would
can't
love,
remember
love
that.
to have a better memory. Do you not remember? Because we even met because the
No.
decision went on like 11 minutes or something. People were just going to the box. It was taking that long, and we met at the bar and then went back up, and this match was still hadn't been restarted. But we did win the game. Anyone, please, someone must remember what I'm talking about. Put it in the comments and refresh us. Anyway,
Well, yeah,
what
I
about
was
yeah, go on then.
sorry. Yeah, I was
Go on.
saying that the away trip to Forest, because I was in Windermere at the time, and I went to a small pub to watch it, thinking that we're just going to hammer them. We should have a penalty straight away for I think it was Kieran Clark. I got ripped down in the box early on.
Mm,
Then Shelby got sent off for kicking out. It was really weak. I mean, he did kick out a bit. They got a penalty from that. Shelby got sent off. Darlow saved the penalty. We absolutely dominated them with 10 men. Richie scored a goal, put a 1-0 up. Then it was Dummett got sent off just before half time for taking a man down, which was soft as well. He was on his way down and he was like falling down. And
yeah,
like Dummett kind of fell over the top of him. He got sent off for that. They got another penalty. Darlow saved it again. And then the second half, yeah, they were a bit more on top because we had 9 men. They got a scrappy goal from a sort of bit of a melee in the box and a
mm,
Lascelles own goal. So even with 9 men, they really struggled.
yeah.
And the referee had a shocker.
Well, I can't remember off the top of my head that game. But the form is in the last 10, we've won 6, lost 4, and there's been no draws. But like you said, 2-1 the League Cup. It was actually in the last 10 games, we've played Forest 3 times in the League Cup, lost twice and won once.
I can't see there being any
Oh,
draws on Friday,
yeah,
mind.
I'm taking that off because I'm getting a headache. My head's too big for a hat. I haven't stretched it in yet to this fucking macadome. I
It
need
is big.
I need to work it is big. I need to work it in bit by bit. I'll have to wear it in the shower so it like stretches out a bit. And fits me napper. Yeah, so that is the head to head. Their form in the last 5 is loss, draw, loss, draw, loss.
Add
Mm-hmm.
another L on that after Friday
Yeah,
because I mean, I don't want to sound cocky or anything like that. And do you know what it is, right? I've actually got a bit of a soft spot for Nottingham Forest. They're a team I really don't mind.
I don't mind them either. I always wanted to see them back in the in the top division because obviously we're of a certain age. I remember the launch of the Premier League. That's how old I am. And just there were certain teams that were just always around when I was a kid. It was the Forest, the Sheffield teams, Leeds, even Middlesbrough. Do you know what I mean? It was just there was loads of those teams that I look back on like romantically with nostalgia. Obviously, I was a fan of Collymore. I wanted him to sign for us. He was one of my first favourite players that didn't play for Newcastle. So
Stuart
yeah,
Pearce, who did sign for us,
yeah.
he was or Psycho, better known as.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Forest, and I hope they do get out of the sort of, well, they're not in the bottom 3, but get it, pull away a
No,
little bit.
well, I've even got this written down. This is how professional I am today.
yeah.
Forest are in 14th,
Mhm.
but there's only 2 points that separates them from the relegation zone.
26 points are they on?
26 or 28. There's 2 points that separates them.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
from relegation.
I'm sure 20. I'm sure 17th is on 24. So yeah, it'll be 26. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting for me actually because I'm going to watch it at my girlfriend's dad's house, who's a Notts Forest fan. So
That's right. Aye.
he's making us me tea, and I'm going to go around there, and it could get very awkward.
It's Sky or BT. It's Sky, isn't it?
It's on Sky, yeah, Sky
Right.
Sports.
Cool. I get free access to Sky Sports through you, which is
Through me, yeah. How do you
yeah,
get your
and
BT?
BT.
I was going to say, how do you get your BT Sport? Do you
Yeah,
get that through me as well? Do you?
yeah,
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 I
yeah.
thought you did. Yeah,
Sharon's caring, Kevin.
it is.
Speaking of former players, you mentioned Stuart Pearce. This leads us nicely on to the other way around. Our former players who are currently at Forest. Chris Wood, even though he's now triggered, now the criteria has been met, and it's triggered the clause in the contract where he's now a Forest player. They have to officially purchase him. He is still officially classed as on loan until the end of the season. It can't be completed as a proper transfer until the transfer window. So therefore, he is ineligible to play for us because at the moment, even though the clauses have been met, we're still classed as his parent club. So
Damn
whew,
it!
relief.
Damn it!
Yeah. The Kiwi Haaland can't play for us. So, say Haaland yesterday, five goals.
Ridiculous. He's a machine.
Absolute, just a cyborg Norwegian. Yeah,
Man.
man. Couldn't think of any words there. Think of loads of words, but I wouldn't be allowed to say them.
Yeah, I could see you filtering them out and
Yeah,
got left for
you have
nothing.
to in this day and age, Kevin. So I don't do stand up anymore. Well, various other reasons, but that's one of them. I haven't got a great filter.
Uh-huh.
Also, John Joe has started the last 4 games for Forest.
Mhm.
So there is a chance that Shelby could make a start against us. So that would be interesting to see.
Would be
And
interesting to see.
yeah, and Jack Colback. If
Oh,
only there was 11 of them, could be facing off against us. Do you know how old Jack Colback is now?
43.
No, he's 33. He still looks about 20. I come to
Aye,
believe.
but he the Ginger Perlo,
Yeah, the ginger fellow.
he's just not very good, is he?
No, he's not great.
So
But Forest have got 11 injuries currently to the squad, which means they only have like a remaining 117 players to choose from. So
yeah,
that's unfortunate for them. Um,
yeah.
one good thing, I think the player, probably one of the only Forest players I would definitely take would be Brennan Johnson.
I
Steve
rate him really
Cooper.
highly. I rate
Steve
him really
Cooper.
highly.
Yeah, Steve
Sorry.
Cooper said it is unlikely he will feature. He apparently got a groin strain against Spurs. Now, whether that's just for the press conference that it's unlikely or what, but that's what Steve Cooper has said, that it's unlikely Brennan Johnson will play, and I think he is going to be. I think he's going to be a top tier player.
Well, I earmarked him last season because I did watch a few Forest games with my girlfriend's dad, and he was always a player that really stuck out as their best player.
He is, yeah.
And even with all the signings that have came in, at Nottingham Forest, I would still say he still is, even with the step up, their best player. And he certainly doesn't look out of place in Premier League. And he's definitely one to keep an eye on, not even just for this game, going ahead in the future. Because if he keeps going the way he is, I wouldn't mind seeing him in a black and white shirt at some stage.
Yeah, exactly. We scored a brace the other week. Was it against Spurs or Everton? I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know we scored 2 the other week. I remember being on a hat trick. But yeah, I can't remember who they were playing against. But yeah,
Trying to remember.
so fingers crossed that that is factually correct from Cooper, and that Brennan Johnson is not going to make the side.
So what's your thoughts on the Shelvey, the whole Shelvey situation?
I've
Is it?
always had a soft spot for John Joe Shelvey. Always. He came to it in that season. Was he a Rafa signing or was he just before Rafa?
I've got a feeling he was before Rafa. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was that championship season. Obviously, it was shite going down, but whilst we were down during that season, it was a great season because we got to remember what winning games felt like. And him and Richie and Dwight Gale.
Dwight Gale
Just
was on fire.
yeah, and John Joe is just pinpoint crosses, just playing it forward, just absolutely running amok in the championship. So I've always had a soft spot for John Joe, and I think last season, after Howe came in, I think he linked up great with Bruno. I think he unleashed Bruno and helped Bruno get going in the Premier League, allowing Bruno to be more flair than I think he has been of late. So, yeah.
I mean, I've got no doubt the Nottingham Forest managers have probably been in the ear of John Joe Shelvey this week in the build-up, trying to sort of figure out.
G him up.
Well, not even just G him up.
Mm.
You know what gets under the skin of certain players and who do we need to target. But I don't think any of that would really matter because I think there's a pretty decent golfing class. Without trying to sound too condescending towards Notts Forest, I think they would probably admit that it's probably going to be 3 points for Newcastle on Friday. In the very first game of the season was against Nottingham Forest. I think that was a big wake up call for them as well, wasn't it? It was like a welcome to the Premier League sort of thing because although the scoreline was 2-0, it could have been a lot more, which seems to have been our story of the season. But
Yeah.
I just can't see how we don't win this game unless unless the wheels fall off in terms of we get a man sent off
Nick Pope.
or a blinding error. I can see we're going to create lots of chances, and I can't see how Nottingham Forest win this game.
No, I really can't. I've got no idea what the lineup's going to be because reading the reports of who's injured and who's not, and I probably couldn't even name a quarter of the Forest squad. I thought I knew who they were, and then obviously in the January window they signed like into that 20 or something. I can barely keep up with our squad, and do you know what I mean? The goings on and rumours and that, let alone keep up with other teams' transfer business, especially down. No offense to them, that end of the table. It's just not something that I prioritise. But yeah, so I see nothing other really than 3 points. I think if Isak and Maxi link up the way they did the other day, then I can see some real damage being caused at that Forest defence.
As can I. The only like touching on it again, the only real sort of issue I had was the Brennan Johnson. I thought he may cause a few troubles.
Yeah.
With him, I mean, it could be a main game. You could be, we saw Eddie Howe doing a few during the week before the Wolves game. Sort of almost hinting that he was going to be starting Wilson and didn't go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Saying, Isaac wasn't sort of ready for a full 90 minutes, and everybody just had a feeling, he's going to go with Wilson again, probably a bit of main games. But I don't think this is when you're really specific to an injury. If he's saying it's a groin strain, it sounds pretty legitimate. And
it did. I haven't heard him say it. I only read. So again, I don't know. I suppose if I listen to Cooper, you get more from listening as opposed to when you read an article that's mainly just picked out quotes. But it does seem like it's legitimately picked up a strain, so it won't feature. And I think even if even if he had picked up a little bit of a strain, but he was 50-50 whether he could play, I don't think they'd risk playing him against, and again, don't want to sound big-headed, but we can, a team that are competing for Champions League that are on paper likely to turn you over. I don't think you'd risk your star man being worsening that injury when you're in a relegation scrap. I think you'd save that for the teams that you really think you can have a go against.
And especially when you've got the international break coming up as well. It's an extra chance for him to patch up. Probably, if it's anything muscular, just have that extra bit of time just to get him in the physio. I can't see them unless it is a bigger elaborate plan, which, like I say, I don't think it is.
No.
So, what I do want to talk about.
Well, but quickly before you do that, where it's in my head before it goes out. Speaking of the international break, there are quite a few teams who are in cup games before the international. One of them being Liverpool. So we have the chance, if we get 3 points at Forest, to go 5 points clear of Liverpool, having both played the same amount of games. Now that to me is huge in the fight for Champions League.
Mm-hmm. And also, aren't Man U playing? I'm sure they've got an FA Cup game, so
Man U aren't playing either. Man U aren't playing in the league.
So that would put us 3 points behind them with the next game against Man U. And
Spurs are playing away at Southampton.
Away at Southampton.
Spurs away form hasn't been great.
In Southampton, just got a draw at Old Trafford, didn't it?
They did. I mean, I don't think they would have done if Casemiro not got sent off early on. But
True. And I mean, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but after the international break, next game, Man U, 3 points behind them, playing them at home. Everything that's happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Is there any more incentive to be up for a game than there is for that one? St James's Park will be absolutely bouncing.
It will.
Absolutely bouncing. And they're going to be so up for it. And I've got a feeling, like I say, I know this is the Forest preview, but I've got a feeling we'll win that game against Man U as well. And then you're in it. I've just got a feeling. So, should we have a little predicted lineup?
Yeah. So let us ask you this: the lineup that started against Wolves, would you continue with that lineup? Because there's some would say when Miggy came on, he looked electric again. But would you continue to rest him and use him as an impact sub? Because I don't think Murphy did anything that would warrant losing his place in the team. That's the first point for you to answer. The second point is couldn't help myself. Second point is Wilson. Does Isak keep his place in the team?
Well, let us answer in reverse order because I think one's easier to answer than the other. There's no way you're dropping Isaac.
Yeah.
You're just not. You're just not. He was fantastic.
Hold on, I've got a cat trying to get in my room.
Oh, a cat.
What? Oh, because you're locked in, aren't you? You're free now. Be free.
See if we can see his bum crack on the way back in. No, he deliberately didn't turn to shut the door.
No. Stupid cat.
Right, yeah. So you can't drop Isaac, not after that performance. No. The way he was linking up with Maxi, like you said yourself, he was taking players on. He was not scared to shoot. He just looked in really good form.
Menacing.
And he's he gives you too much to think about. And so for me that's an easy one. Isaac starts over Wilson all day. Of course, I want to see Wilson get back to his old form, but I just can't see how you take Isaac out for Wilson in this game at all. The first point you made is probably a bit more open for debate. Yeah, Murphy did absolutely nothing wrong, and at times it was really nice to see somebody on the right hand side being able just to put a ball in with the right foot, put a cross in. He put some nice crosses in. Whereas with Miggy, he's always going to try and get onto his left, whether that be sort of cutting in on the inside or having to sort of use Trippier to cut back on himself to then put a ball in with his left, or just use Trippier for the sake of putting a ball in. With Murphy, you've got that different dynamic, and is that what basically teams were expecting? With Miggy and Trippier linking up, that kind of worked it out a little bit. Keep Miggy onto his onto his right foot, and he's not going to have too much danger. That having been said, when he came on, he did look really good.
He did.
He did look really, really good. Now, was that because maybe the legs were a bit more tired in Wolves when he came on? Possibly. But nonetheless, he looked really, really dangerous. And when he's in that kind of mood, he's definitely more dangerous than Murphy. Yeah. So I've skirted about the question. If you're asking me now, who do I start? I'd probably start Miggy.
Right. Well, I'm going to go against that, and I would say I would start Murphy, because of the way I think we will quite comfortably get a result against Forest. But on the off chance that we don't, it would be nice to have somebody who's maybe rediscovering form like Miggy to come on fresh-legged, because we're all an intensive team. So no matter what, that lineup at Forest, that back lineup is going to be shattered. It would be nice for Miggy, if we hadn't broke the deadlock, for Miggy to come on and terrorise them for the last half an hour. That would be my starting. I also agree Isak cannot lose his place. Neither can ASM. I think Joe Willock was underrated, because I think everyone had a blind eye against Wolves.
Joe Willock was great, absolutely great. He's nowhere near losing his position.
No.
I mean, not that there was anybody there for him to lose it to in anyways, but the suspension of Joe Linton. But yeah, I thought he had an absolutely great game, Joe Willock, the other day. So yeah, I think going through the team, obviously you're gonna have Pope between the sticks. Can't see any changes coming in the back four.
I can't. Now, previously I would have said maybe they're tired, give them a rest, but we'll have the international break coming up. So, and they did. To be fair, they didn't seem tired against Wolves. Something which the few games previous, I thought they did look a bit leggy. I don't think they did against Wolves. And Trippier, like I say, as we've discussed, that the goal was due to a complete error, a slip, lost his footing. So yeah, no changes in the back four for me.
And on Dan Burn, yeah, you don't get as much going forward from him, but he kind of reminded us at the weekend what you do get defensively for him as well. Just some of his tackles were really well timed, and he's not scared of going in for a sliding tackle. I mean, there was one where they had a dangerous attack down the right hand side, and the player possibly Traore, got into the box, and he did like a sort of sliding challenge. Not only won the ball, got it out for a goal kick as well. And I thought, you don't get that from Target really.
Yeah, I'd be the same. So I would stick with the exact same lineup. And would your only change be Murphy for Miggy?
That would be my only change. Yeah, and I wouldn't be disappointed if he did start with Murphy. Like I say, it was a little bit of an eyebrow raiser for us the other day, and I thought, is that the right thing to do? But Murphy impressed us, and if he plays like that again, then there's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't start, because he had a really good game. What do you think Howe's thinking on that particular motion?
I don't know. I know he likes to keep a team and not well, he has in the past not take people out when they've had a good game. But then again, Lascelles had a good game against City, even though we got beat 2-0. He had a good game, and then Shaw came right back in. But I think the difference in quality between Lascelles and Shaw probably is more so in a position where we can't afford for that lack of quality. Whereas I think the Miggy Murphy, there's a lack of quality, but we can get away with it on that position more so than we could in the heart of the defence. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
Eddie,
we'll start the same team.
you could be right. I mean, he clearly likes Murphy. You know, Eddie Howe
He
clearly
does.
likes
It's very
Murphy,
highly
and
of him.
he's given some opportunities throughout the season where I think, you know, I mean, the tide's changing with Murphy. He's almost on the precipice of being Eddie Howe, because I think the general feeling amongst fans towards the beginning of the season is when he was coming on as a substitute, fans were like, "Oh, Murphy's coming on." Oh,
Yeah.
wasn't really an exciting prospect. Now it's getting to a stage where me and you are having a conversation saying, well, we actually wouldn't mind him starting over Almiron.
Yeah, I
So
know.
that shows great progress, and that comes from probably the confidence as well that Eddie Howe's put in and installed in him. So I wouldn't have a problem if he did start him. I just think Eddie might just go back to Miggy because of the goal he scored.
Yeah. Well, we'll know in 2 days' time. Score prediction.
All right. Is our lass's dad going to see this video? Probably not. I'm going to go 3-0.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I can't change. I'm going to go 3-0. I'm also going to go 3-0.
Feels like it's going to be a 3-0, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to say a brace for Isak, and I'm going to say one for Willock.
Well, I'm going to say one for Isak, definitely. I'm going to say that Bruno's going to get into the score sheet.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And yeah, again, I'm going Almiron. I always seem to go Almiron.
Yeah.
Wonder if it's because he's a top goal scorer, possibly.
He is.
But yeah, one for Almiron, whether he starts or whether he comes off the bench to get a cheeky one.
Well, I certainly hope we're correct. Everyone watching, leave your score predictions in the comments. Who you think's going to score, what you think the lineup's going to be. Please do. There's lots of people watching now, but if we get some more commenting in the chat, that would be brilliant. We'll try and reply to everybody. Also, if you follow us below on Twitter and Instagram, I can't remember which sides I put them on, and we'll try to follow everyone back. If you want to communicate, do it that way. Most importantly, though, if you can hit the subscribe button and hit the like button on the video, because apparently that really does help YouTube show it to other people who are into similar style of Newcastle YouTubers. So that would really help us out. And share it if you want to. That would be great. And we'll be back Saturday. Should we say Saturday? Are you free Saturday?
Over the weekend, we'll see. We'll see how many drinks I have on Friday night.
Right, we'll try not leave it too late. So
possibly Saturday.
Right,
possibly
we'll try Saturday. Saturday will be good, Kevin.
Okay.
So we'll see Saturday or Sunday. Hopefully Saturday with the review of the Forest game. Yeah. So one more time, like, subscribe, share, comment, and we'll see you in a few more days after the Forest game. Cheers and smell you later.
See you later. Come on.